It's a seesaw battle here in the title match of the $140,000 Miller Light Challenge. $23,000 going to the winner, $12,000 to the loser here of the semifinal match.
And keep in mind that Dave Husted gets to finish in the 10th frame on lane 16 that he has just dearly loved. Somebody coughing in the background, see if it bothers Husted. Nothing is bothering Husted tonight except lane 15 now and then.
He has struggled on the left-hand lane here in the championship match. In the third and the fifth, missing both times. Struck in the first.
Well, it would be interesting now to see if he makes a move with his feet, or what kind of adjustment he tries to make, or just tries to execute the shot better. I don't know exactly what's going through his mind.
He seems to have set it short the last couple of times on that left-hand lane. Let's see if he might loft a little bit more out this time. Looks like he's moved a little more right with his feet.
Good loft, and trips the four again.
And you saw the response. That away, baby. Trip out that four, and a big pressure double in the seventh.
Oh, yeah, he said. Thanks.
Thanks.
You read them?
Oh, you pro bowlers are all alike. You're also courteous when you strike.
Oh, yeah. David has those choir boy looks. Jack's now trailing by a pin. Right lane going high on the Brooklyn. He says, all right.
He'll take it.
Absolutely. That's one more frame out of the way.
That's another thing about pro bowlers. They're not proud in that respect, are you, Mike? You'll take it on the wrong side.
See, on the 1-3, it looks good for a right-hander. I mean,
he knows he's made a mistake. Uh-oh, crossover. Yes, no problem. That's one of those, boy, it looks good. Not good. Uh-oh, there it is. Just fine.
One pin separating the two players, 3 frames to go.
I've noticed, Mike, that Dave does not watch his opponent. How did you used to react to that? Did you used to watch him play?
I did both.
Oh. When you were ahead, you watched, and when you were behind, you looked down.
No, sometimes I would try not watching. Other times I watched. 8th frame to take the lead. High. There's with the shot that was short. He just did not get that ball over the foul line. When we say short, we mean that he didn't get the ball far enough out on the lane, that it was just set too close to the foul line, and the ball ran high, and he knew it. Again, the 4-7, the spare that he converted a couple of frames ago. Bobby right here, no slide, and the ball almost set down. It looked almost behind the foul line, didn't it, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
And the follow through going way to the left. Uh-oh. Ooh, he's got it.
Bobby looks up.
He was a little worried.
Taps the pacemaker there.
But Husted going to lane 16, his favorite lane, leading by 1, and has the match in his grasp. I mean, to put it away almost if he can strike a couple times here. Oh, and he misses his favorite lane. Keeping Bobby Jacks in the match could have had a split. And we see pressure telling on even a very confident player. What did he say? Could you read that?
No, I couldn't, but he is obviously very disappointed because up until this point, he has, when he's had an opportunity to walk through the door, he's walked through, slammed it, locked it, and thrown away the key.
Has the 4-7. There we see it. 1 pin separating the 2 bowlers with 2 frames to go. Husted been having trouble on the left lane, has been high. 2 consecutive frames and got a high strike the last time. Needs a strike in the 9th frame here to set up the big finish for the 10th.
Both players beginning to feel the pressure.
And when the pressure's on, that's when it's hardest to keep your speed up sometimes. Very little time. Good speed and good shot. Very relaxed shot under a pressure situation.
Husted reacting and realizing that he's put himself in a position to perhaps win with a beautiful shot in the ninth.
And that half pocket hit, you see that 6-pin snap out the 10. You know that he had the good hand release and the good finger lift. Bobby Jacks, his fate in his own hands. If he strikes in the ninth and all three in the 10th, he can shoot 238, and there's nothing that Dave Husted can do.
Bobby Jacks took over the lead in this tournament after the second game of the final round of match play last night and held on to it for dear life.
High again on the Brooklyn again. Doesn't carry it this time, and Husted tosses his rosin back in the air, says he's going to get 2. He knew this was high, and the 2-pin, I'm getting mixed up on my pins here, doesn't get the 4.
Bobby Jacks, should he convert and then strike out in the 10th, would have a possible 227. And now, Dave Husted, who sits on the bench, his head in his hands, is now in a position to win if he goes right off the sheet.
Cross lane at the 4-pin. No mistakes and no mistakes. All right.
Well, you like to talk those spare attempts home, don't you?
Oh. Well, he almost chopped the 4 off the 7 the previous frame, and he was thinking about that. He wanted to give it a little bit more room. And what we've got here is a tie match, as the scoreboard tells the story here, going into the 10th frame. The big difference is that Husted has that strike. He cannot lose count. Jacks must strike the first ball in the 10th frame. It's an absolute must situation.
Bobby Jacks deliberately approaching lane 15, and in the back of his mind, he certainly realizes, I should say, that this is it, basically.
The most important shot he's thrown in 20 years. Through the nose again, leaves the 4-7 one more time, broke up the split. Same shot as the 8th frame, puts himself 2 pins behind. It's just hard, the lanes are tight, he can't give it any room. He wanted to throw it out the pocket, he just pulled it a little bit.
His reaction has been to go high, Mike, rather than to send it a little bit.
Well, the lanes again are slick on both sides of the lane, left and right, and he just doesn't throw much hook to begin with. He didn't want to give it a chance that it wouldn't get back. You can't strike if you don't hit the head pin. As the spare, it's still important. It's still anybody's game right now. Of course, Husted in the driver's seat. Jack strikes, he's going to wind up with 215, which would mean that Husted would have to fill 19 pins in the 10th frame in order to win.
Bobby not even realizing, I don't think, that he was in the 10th frame. He spared up and sat down and had to be reminded that he needs to throw the fill ball here. Should Dave Husted win, he would have accumulated better than $50,000 over the last month.
That's not a bad month.
Yeah. Nice week, nice 4 weeks work.
Gave that one more room, too much room. That's why he didn't want to send it in. Leaves a horrible. Now Husted only needs a spare, just a mark, and he goes, I think he checks the score again. He wants a re-rack. That's what he wants.
Might be buying himself a little time here to make sure he's got the score correct.
I don't think so. To me, sitting right behind that, I would have re-racked that too. The 5-pin looked a little off spot to the left. This one looks good. He's going to shoot this one. We're in a great vantage point here, right behind. He needs only a mark.
210 for Bobby Jacks, who had 1 double in the match in the 3rd. Well, make that a turkey in the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th.
It's right there, and it carries.
Oh my, the slide right off the approach, and Dave Husted has captured his 2nd PBA title in a 4-week span, and he is drained right now, literally drained emotionally. He has come from the number 4 spot and worked his way all the way up the ladder.
And again, his experience showing he's going over checking to see if he needs to even throw this next shot or needs to stay behind the foul line and not throw it in the channel. Moves in right down the 2nd arrow. And that's it.
More than enough.
More than enough.
Dave Husted out of Milwaukee, Oregon, and I have a feeling the folks in Milwaukee are probably jumping up and down right now. I know his dad, Champ, certainly is. Final score for Husted will be 225, so it's a 15-pin victory for young Dave Husted. His 5th overall in his career and his 2nd in the past month. He gets a hug and a kiss from wife Michelle.